Good morning, everyone. How you guys doing? So,
Yo, what's up, guys?
what's up, bro? How you doing, man?
I'm good. How you doing?
Yeah, you're good, man.
That's what's up.
How's your guys' Saturday going?
It's pretty good, man. I'm just at the house studying right now. How's your Saturday going?
It's going all right, bro. Taking a little bit of relaxing time off.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been a little busy, this past 2 weeks. Next week's schedule is a little bit, annoying as well, but it's all good. That's the thing with trading, right? Having to have your own time, like not having to worry about right working and stuff like.
Yeah, I feel you. You work on your own schedule for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part, right? Like 9:30, you can't really kind of work on your own schedule in the morning.
Yeah, yeah, for the most part.
It's a good thing, I mean, I'd say, if you get good at it, though, only if you get good at it.
So I noticed that how you predict your your following day, like whether it's gonna be a green day or a red day, is like you'll have lines drawn out, and if it's holding a certain, if it's holding a certain price,
Mhm.
that's how you predict it's okay. Oh, it's gonna be a good. It's gonna be a green day. It held up pretty good overnight.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally what the market's about, right? Because the thing is, right, if they made it just as easy as so what happens is, guys, is this, right? Like main issue, that becomes with trading is this, right? If they made it certain where it was just like simple as this, right? Like let's say if it was just simple as this, it's either going to do this or it's going to either uh, you know, let's say in pre-market you're just able to tell, right? If you're just able to tell one direction of the market, right? Then it becomes too easy because then everybody would know the direction and they would trade it that way, right? But the issue with the market is they trap you, they trick you, right? So the same issue then becomes is there's a couple of things that can happen, right?
Such as
Um, stuff that happens in the back is like literally like this, right? So it's like uh, you can't really like predict it to the T, but what you can do is you can have some of this, where you can have like what I was trying to. Oh my god, like, I'm losing my words right now. I have no idea why.
no, you're good. I wanted to know kind of
What I mean to T is like risk management. It's very, very important. Like that's literally what I'm trying to say. All it is risk management, right? So what happens is over time you become good and like a little bit better at reading charts, right? Over time, slowly you get better and better. But the thing that you have to keep consistent is the risk management, right? Because that's the biggest thing that leads into
yeah,
you making money, right? Like even if you're wrong and you take $1,000 loss or $5,000 loss, it's not bad, right? But the issue is you have to be able to come back the next day and make that $5,000 or $6,000 or $10,000, right? A little bit more than what you lost, rather than losing 5 grand and then making $1,000 for the next 5 days, right?
yeah.
So it's one of those things. Is like what you have to take consistency in is literally risk management, right? Which is
So
another part of it.
so your support lines that you're drawing, are you basing them off of like highs and lows, obviously, right? Or
Yeah, that and some of these algo levels from the past days.
okay,
We'll definitely have like another topic, like maybe call about that. I mean, it's simple, right? Like it literally was. We kind of talked about it last call. So if you want to watch that webinar, that we'll give you a little
yeah,
bit of insight from where we draw it. But
yeah. You
it is,
said you've been trading 8 years, right?
yeah. So I mean, technically, like actual trading only like 6 years, but like from the 2 years before that, I was also, looking at the market and trying to learn, but, never was into day trading or anything like that. When I found out about day trading, it's only been like 6 years, like I'd say 6.5 years, because, you know,
Okay.
to the,
Yeah, I've been day trading like 2 years. Not too much,
okay.
but
How's it going, bro?
honestly, it's good. It's made me so I didn't have to work a job, and I live off of it. So I'm good. I'm not
Okay,
great.
perfect.
I'm not where I want to be. I'm not in millions, but I'm definitely sustaining. So
But then the issue then becomes is this, right, bro? All it is right. You're gonna just get better, right? This is something. The one thing good about it is that once you learn the ways, it's very hard for you to go the other way, right? Just like how if you learn the bad ways, then it's very hard for you to correct yourself because you're also stuck in that rut. The same
yeah,
issue is like you're only gonna improve from here, right? Unless you're just like whatever you're making, like let's say you're making even like $10,000 a month, and then you're just going and partying, booze, and like that's all you're doing, and you're just not spending any time on charts or not learning, because all it is once you learn how to do something, it's just like you can almost just get better, right? Same
yeah,
thing like anything like gym related or anything, right? Like muscle memory also comes back. So you can get a little bit how should I say uh, you know, like you can lose a little bit of it, but then it just comes back right after really quick. Quick question: let's say you're playing a breakout, you see volume coming in, and then you buy the 30 contract so that you're dumping. It's crazy. What would you do in that situation? Literally, dude, have I don't even want to say that word, and just be confident in your trade. Honestly, if it dumps like really quickly and you lose a lot of your value of your contract, that means that wasn't a good trade in the first of all, right? So you just take the loss, and what can you do, right? What are you gonna do, honestly? Uh, if it dumps like, let's say the market has news, bro, big dog, then you literally have to dump it, right? One of those things is as simple as that, right? Um, it's just like, it is what it is, part of it, right? Sometimes you get filled at the bad trades, and then, I think it happened to me on Zoom the other day, literally. Yeah, dude, it did happen to me on Zoom, literally. Lost about 14, 15 grand. So I cut it as quick as, finding out that it was just going down. That's it. Confidence is another thing is, understanding that if your trade is willing to work out, like the thing is, guys, like one of those things, right? The same thing I say, right? Going back on demand and learning these patterns and going back, because these patterns repeat so many times that after a certain type of price action, you'll be able to kind of predict the next couple of minutes of price action. So if you're able to do that and the stock dumps like crazy, then you should be able to tell from there to the next 3 or 4 minutes, right? Like nothing crazy in the future, right? Nothing like what the stock's going to do in the whole day, right? But at least for the next 2 to 3 minutes, right? What kind of price action, what kind of value, what kind of active trader, buying, selling pressure you're seeing should be able to, help you predict the next 5 to 10 minutes. So what happens is you're able to make the prediction from there, right? If the stock, let's say, on Zoom, if it dumps from 408 all the way down to 404, right? Or Tesla from 408 to 404, then you should be able to figure out that, what kind of price action is going through. And, if the stock bounces from here, where can it bounce to? And does it have resistance at the top, which means it's going to get shorted back into it, which means it's going to dump more, which then means that you should be cutting your losses, right? So all it is, when we get stuck in a trade, guys, honestly, all it is, being honest with you, all it is literally, it's just we're bad traders. That's it at that point. If you're holding a trade because you went into it thinking that it's going to be a day trade, but then you hold it for a swing trade, that's just you making bad mistakes. Simple, right? And that's one of those things where you're going to cut it off right there. Because if you don't cut it, then it's something that's going to affect you. Simple, right? Because it literally is like on something like this, like if you don't cut your losses here, dude, you're gonna stuck in 20 more points. Was that 4 point loss bad? Honestly, it wasn't, compared to this 20, 30 point loss that you're gonna end up taking. So why not just cut it, and take that loss and just realize that you're wrong and then come back the next day and then, go in, when you're a little bit more confident. So a lot of it, yeah, of course, Robert. Why wouldn't I, brother? The thing with swing trading is, guys, is, honestly, let me put it right there in the front. I remember, a couple of months back, I remember I told you guys that I was going to show you guys my swing trading account, but honestly, with swing trading, it's mostly shares, Robert. But right, the issue with the swing trading is simply, I'm not going to lie to you. Being 100% honest with you, the way I swing trade, I use a lot of scanners and I let you use a lot of these proprietary stuff that I can't give it to all of you guys. Being honest, right? It is what it is. You can call me, out for that, or be like, okay, he doesn't want to share it. Honestly, if it was you in my place, you still wouldn't want to share that stuff, right? So some of the stuff, it's only available to certain people, and of course, right, that's where the building a relationship comes into play and stuff like that, right? You can't trust everybody. I can't give every single one of you guys because I don't know any of you guys on the internet. Honestly, at the end of the day, you guys are just random people. And so the issue then becomes is, if my swing trading account, right, is shared, then it becomes, a lot of people are going to be like, yo, signal, 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 right? That's all I'm going to hear. So what's the point in even me kind of putting something out there which kind of leads to nowhere, right? If I can't teach you guys how to do it, right? So if swing trading, right, is something that you want to learn, then message me, then we can kind of talk about it. But then that same issue is, right, it's something that I can't really talk about, because it goes back to where if I do it with scanners and I do it with let's see but, so like, if you want to see it, like, message me and maybe I'll show you guys my swing trading account. But maybe not, most likely not, because it's no point in kind of showing you guys something that literally there's no way of you, like, trading. You can learn a lot of things, right, that'll kind of go into it with day trading, because you can use a lot of this day trading methods into swing trading. So because we're putting this into kind of that category, the only thing that you would be missing is some of the proprietary stuff, right? Because with that stuff, it's not shared with everybody. And so then you're going to be like, hey bro, you're showing me your swing account, how can I learn this? Well, you can only learn in certain ways, and certain things are going to be set in place where, guess what, you're not even looked at. Like there's a whole process of joining that team, and if you're not able to just join, then you're going to be like, okay, this guy's an asshole, he doesn't want to help and stuff like that. So there's no point in even going into that direction, being honest with you guys.
Is it an elite team, elite membership?
Yeah. So one of those things is, there's no point in even kind of talking about it, right? So but honestly saying, right, swing trading is something very, very, unique, and it's very good. And I promise you, right, like, you can make a lot more money swing trading than day trading. But the issue then becomes is, you literally have way more sleepless nights because you'll be in a trade, right? And you're gonna literally be, for the first couple of months, you're gonna be going crazy. I promise. Because you don't know if the trade's going to work out, and then you don't know how to proper risk management, and a lot of people are going to try doing it with options and try to make real money, really quick money, and guess what that's going to lead to? Rather sleep. That's why, man. And that's one of those things, right? Like, everything that you're learning here, right? Like, that we're going to be basically talking about today, right? Today is kind of a funny topic. Honestly, we're going to show all of you guys how you could have 5x your money, right? We're going to be, I'm not going to mention his name because I don't know how, because this is going to go on YouTube. I don't want to mention his name, but, 100x it. We're going to 5x it, a little bit more realistic, but, it is what it is. It's not crazy as that, but we're gonna do something like that. We're gonna 5x your money today, right? How everybody could have 5x your money, and we're gonna talk
on Saturday.
What?
On a Saturday?
On a Saturday? No, not today. We're gonna review some of the options from the back yesterday, some of the plays that happened, right? Because what happens is, like, a lot of people kind of look at my gains, right? And you guys see that, oh, okay, 48 grand, insane amount of money, right? Some people, right? Honestly, 6 years back, I'd be literally looking at that and I'd be going crazy as well. But right now, if you really think about it, and we're going to go over this now in a little bit more detail, because I actually have saved almost a lot of the options that I wanted to. And we're going to go over each and every single one of them and, show you guys what the potential was and what I ended up capping out at. Right. So that's what we're going to look at too today. Very, very nice. So, it's going to be a little bit of a learning lesson, and, then you're going to kind of also be able to learn how, much better option trading would be compared to, I kind of pick on penny stocks a lot, but honestly, if you're doing that, man, it's all you, right? I started from there, so I had no kind of issue with them. At the end of the day, I can't really complain about them. But, it's just something that's, a little bit more longer term lasting. If you want to look at something like that, then I would say focus a little bit more on, large cap stocks. And, if you're able to make some of those same returns, why do you even focus on it, right? So
do you prefer day trading or swing trading?
Do I prefer? I'm not gonna lie, I do not have a difference, honestly. Because it really, honestly, is swing trading. I'm not gonna lie, is a little bit more of how should I say? It's
Involved
automated type situation, right? Because I got a couple of people right looking at charts for me, so they kind of pick out some of the main ones, and then of course I go over the couple of ones, and there's like a little process that I've made, so it's a little bit more I'd say automated than day trading, where day trading I have to sit here for 2 hours, where with swing trading you pick a trade, you put your stop losses in, and then you can have somebody else watch your stocks, and or a little bit more
I've never done swing trading. I've only done options.
Okay.
So
That's good. I mean, I promise you, right? You're not missing out on anything. All it is once you learn it, like the issue is, right? What you should be doing is kind of learning about longer term patterns as well, right? The same situation. If you're learning about day trading and the way that you trade, day trade, right? Try to put that into long term. All it is the way I trade is that's why I try to unify everything. Simple reason why I use the active trader. Simple reason why I use Thinkorswim. Simple reason, right? The reason I do everything, I do it for the longer term, right? One of the things that we as people forget about is this, right? We have to kind of look at the whole bigger picture rather than look at one thing. If I wasn't using Thinkorswim and I was using something else, then guess what? I would need Thinkorswim for scanning, or a certain different program for scanning, and then of course I would need a way of trading options faster, right? Which would be a different platform. Then I would need, something else to kind of do, other things. So that's why I kind of like unifying my things, where, the way that I trade, day trade is literally very similar to the way that I swing trade, as you can see, right? So literally all it is, kind of unifying your thing and kind of having it for the longer run, where understanding that, learning one type of trading can also lead to the next, right? So where you're not just kind of kind of stuck on one thing, right? One of those situations becomes, right, of, understanding how trading works, right? So over time, it's kind of like all it is, learning, just honestly being lazy is a pretty good word for it. Understanding that, if you trade a certain way on day trading, then you can trade it the same way, right? On, swing trading. That's it. So the thing with swing trading with options is I'm not really too insanely good with it. Of course, there's a lot more. You know, like personally, I'm not gonna lie. It's because things are going good. I am kind of not really looking too much into it, but of course, I have to review options and kind of understand some of this stuff, because it's gonna help me out big time in the in kind of having capital kind of put toward other assets, because with swing trading you need a lot more capital to kind of put in for stocks and stuff like that, and understanding that this is a put, and if we just change this to a call, right? Literally, if I just change this to right, literally a call, you'll see how this call went from look, $150 to $400, right? And understanding how, if you're able to pick up, some of these calls at 140 and ride them to 180, with, way less capital, right, than what you would have to put in for Amazon, right? Then that's the same issue of, right, $3,000 stock versus literally, $140 option contract, right? So buying, 100 shares of this, right? Or 100 contracts of this would cost me about 1.4 million, I believe, right? So like $140, right? Yeah, it would cost me about 1.4 million. Where if I wanted to buy, and then look, also just to show you guys, right? 140, literally on this, I would have gotten about a 200% return. And this is a call, right? So let's look at the chart history for Amazon, right? For the past, this is how many days is this? This is 11th, right? So past 30 days, right? The stock price, wait a second. What is this? What's the date? This 10, 12. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, so 10/6 is when we're looking at. Is this a put still? No, it's a call. I don't know why it increased in value here. 10/7 to 10/14. I have no clue, right? See, like some of this stuff, like I don't really like. It's just research that you're gonna do, right? At the end of the day, look, these went to zero, right? From like literally they opened at $120. So think about it, right? Like losing all of this capital. If you had 100 contracts of this and it opened at $120 and you kept it for the whole day, you would lose all of that $2 million, right? Gone. So stuff like that, right? Like a lot of research has got to be taken into place. And I honestly saying I kind of stayed away from it for now. But we'll kind of get into it a little bit, but of course, right, trading options for swing trading would be more beneficial, but is it more beneficial for me now at this point? Not really, honestly, because honestly, because I haven't kind of put in the time and the effort yet. Joining me now, anything can swing trade? You mean? What do you mean, trader, bro? What are you trying to mean? Like swing trade? By swing trading, I mean you're holding the stock over one day, literally more than one day. If you're holding a stock over 24 hours, it's a swing trade, and usually under a year. Over a year, it's long term.
Bro, is there a way to tell from the pre-market data that the stock's gonna move like sideways or?
That's one of those things, right, bro? Like on the market, it's pretty easy. I'm not gonna lie, right? On the stock market, it's easier to do it because what you have to look at is simply the pre-market data, right? How you do that is simply by this, right? Look, the stock will usually act like how it acted in pre-market because look, after this drop, how it just went sideways, as you can see, right? Usually the stock will be stuck in a sideways range after that, from what I've seen in the pre-market, right? In the stock market. But usually, right, when you see a trend like this, or usually a sideways action or something like this, where a stock is kind of stuck in a range like this for so long, that basically means it's fighting against a certain level, and then it'll kind of keep on doing that. But as you can see, look, it's a lot cleaner where it drops, sports, rips up, breaks out, right? You see how much cleaner the sells and the buys are here, and see how the buyers are coming in into like, and how it kind of continues that versus just going sideways. That's one of those things is like when a stock usually goes sideways like very very much, right, then it breaks the channel and then you have to kind of understand. But honestly, there's no way of understanding a stock will be sideways action or what, right? Then the same goes to risk management, right? Understanding that if the stock goes bad, if the stock doesn't rip up, what's my risk management, right? Where should I cut my losses and how should I cut my losses and stuff like that. And look, right, slow grind up, but just sideways action usually behaves exactly like that. Look, slow grind up, but just sideways, down, up, down, right? So with the market, I've seen it, right, where you're able to kind of tell here. But then, of course, right, look, the market kind of reacted the same way here, as you can see, just like sideways, then big move up, big move down, sideways, then a big move up, sideways, then a big move up, sideways, sideways, then another big move up. So it usually kind of stays the same. You know, usually the type of pattern that's already kind of in play is what, it goes around. Okay, where is it? Swing trade mean option trades. Do you get into discount and so use it on demand without trading real side? You'll get 20-minute delayed, but in US you can put 500. Yeah. Yeah, it's in Canada. You have to put in 25K. Yeah, James is right. Exactly. You literally, yeah. With US is very kind of good where you just don't have to put too much money into the account and still get real-time data. It's just the same stocks and same for big. Actually, let's just go over these options. I'm not gonna lie, right? Because it's kind of cool to kind of compare these options. Let's just kind of go over some of the moves that we had Friday and kind of go over that versus our options, just to kind of compare. Now this is gonna be a section that I don't know if I might even kind of upload separately. I might kind of try to break this up and upload this separately, and then other would be into the webinar, because this is a little bit different, and just this is going to be something where we're going to be comparing how should I say, the stock, right, to the option, right, on Friday. And of course, right, we all know on Friday you have the same day expiration, more volume, more IV and stuff like that, and all of that. It's okay, no problem, right? But the same issue then becomes is you can make crazy ton more money as well, right? Understanding that me shorting Zoom in the 488s, right, just to show you guys an example, right? That's Friday. I mean, that's Thursday, but look, right, just to show you guys, right, these type of moves on stocks, right, options happen all the time, right? Let's say a penny stock. What was the penny stock runner from this week that did pretty good? If somebody trades penny stocks, please list it out, because I haven't even looked at them, honestly. Anybody trading penny stocks in here? No? Literally not even one stock? You guys can't find it? Don't tell me you're gonna scan for it. Honestly. Snap, well, Snap's not a penny. Snap's not a penny stock anymore. $34. HTZ. Okay. Something that ran.
HTZ got delisted.
HT got delisted.
Yeah.
What, $1.78? That's insane. Imagine having your money in there. Something that ran up, guys. Come on. Not just any penny stock. You guys are just listing every penny stock that there is. Do I really gonna scan them? Like, honestly, you're gonna make me do the work. Oh, there we go. All right. Look, right. So same type of situation, guys, right? Like understanding, right, this move on this penny stock, right, that happened in after hours or pre-market, and this was probably earnings, right? Understanding, moves like this don't happen all the time, and having to be comparing it to the options where you could have had the same type of move on Zoom, right? Again, right? So the same issue is like, look, this went from $2. This contract went from $2 all the way up to $12, which means that, it was actually a better percentage. And then the issue then it becomes is you don't have to fear that the company will get literally delisted, like, HTZ. I don't know if it's true. I mean, somebody said it, right? So we're going to listen to you, bro. Right. But, it probably did. But, don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about a shelf, right? You don't have to worry about literally the stock halting. You don't have to, same thing, right? Couple of stuff like that. Like, you don't have to worry about any of that. And then, of course, right, there's the ups and the downs about it where, of course, there's a lot of more retail traders trading, some of those stocks. And there is a lot more, algos also trading some of these bigger high-end stocks. But the same issue is, personally, I feel like this is way better because we are literally going up against, some of the big money. As much as, big, companies make money uh, in the initial move where, when they first invest, usually, of course, they're probably going to be down a little bit of money, kind of getting into some of these positions for the long term. So we're basically kind of scalping some of that. But just to show you guys an example, look, stock did this twice. Look, what percent of return that is? That's a 500% return in one day. That means if you would have invested 100K at the bottom of that candle, right, which is fine, right? Like we're not even going to look at that. We're going to look at maybe even taking out, investing even 100K here at $4, right? You could have easily doubled your money, right, by $8, right? So one of those things is that moves like this happen all the time in options. To me personally, it's a little bit more, kind of like, no brainer to look at something like this rather than looking at something like a penny stock where, of course, you're going to pay for these scanners, right? You have to look at that, and then you have to, fight against everybody else also, right? That's looking at the scanners. You have to be quick, and you have to, do that. Same thing for, some of these big, large cap stocks, but they have a little bit more of a unified move where, once you start trading them every day with penny stocks, because you're trading different stocks every day, it's kind of like very hard to get the pinpoint average or pinpoint move or, kind of to understand the behavior of the stock, where with penny stocks, it's a little bit harder. With, large caps, because you're watching the same stock every day, it's a little bit easier to kind of, understand how the stock usually behaves and how the stock would behave. If the stock did this, this is how it can behave and stuff like that. So, that's another one of those, kind of goods. But just to show you guys, look, this would have been literally what? 600% return. That means if you would have invested $20,000, you would have made $100,000 out of it. If you would have invested 1 million, you would have made 6 million by it. If you would have gotten out all the way at the top. But we're not going to say, right, you got out all the way at the top or you held your options till then. But that same situation of, understanding how this stuff works, right? Being able to look at Zoom, right? Understanding that, only even if taking, a little bit of the move, right? Look, I only got, I believe, right? This is where I got into these options on Zoom. Look at my move that I took versus what I could have made on this options now, right? Made about, I think it was 32,000 or something, right? Around there on Zoom. And now you're going to be like mind boggled. I got in, right, as this candle was ripping up. So I got filled around, I think it was like 9 something, right? So I took this trade from $9 all the way up to like, I think it wasn't even like $14. It was only like 13 or 12 something, right? So I only took 1, 2, 3, right? And 3.5, almost 4 points, right? And literally, that's not even, look, from all the way down to here, that's only like 50% of the move. Not even, right? It's probably third of the move of this little thing right here. And I was able to come out with about $30,000, right? So all it is, you can just take these smaller moves, right, by investing a little bit more rather than try to go for these home runs and, it having to come back all the way down to $8, right? By the end of the day, if it wanted to do that, it could have done that. But then the same situation is that, understanding the patterns and understanding that once the stock has rejected this 50 EMA so harsh that, it basically engulfed this whole candle, that basically means it's in a sell wave right now. And then, of course, looking at the market and understanding what the market's doing, comparing it with Zoom. And then, of course, right, looking at the WeWeb, right? So all of that stuff plays into a role, right? What do we talk about how, Zoom sold off like crazy? Did we not talk about in pre-market how it would be, another sell day, another weakness day on Zoom? Why was that? Because simply when there's so many sellers that are, basically kind of short on this stock, and there are so many buyers that are stuck all the way at the top, they're gonna, scare all the weak hands out, right? Because that's how they make money, right? That's how the smart people make money. You're gonna scare all the weak hands out, and then guess what? You're gonna dump it again on all of these buyers because they're thinking that maybe, this stock can jump up, another 10 points. So, they'll take off their loss at 500 for a less of a loss, but they don't understand that you know, once they've caught you, they're going to keep on, you know, bringing that pain on and keep on, you know, basically breaking you down more and more and more and more until you literally give up and you close your position out all the way at the bottom. And then the next couple of days, maybe you'll get a bounce, right? So that's one of those situations where you have to understand, you know, if your day trade didn't work out, don't even think your swing trade's going to work out, because that's not how it works, right? If you're stuck in this stock on a long here, look, this was a bull trap. Look, they literally squeezed this thing up above the pre-market so everybody, you know, could get in at the top here because they thought that their, you know, Zoom was going to rip, right? Just like everybody else, right? Because they thought Zoom was going to rip, so everybody got in long. So what are the chances that, you know, there's a lot more people, right? He said, Q said, stop talking about. So there's a lot more people, right, that are stuck with you up here. So because there's a lot more people that are stuck here with you, so once the stock drops, right, now all of you guys are trapped. So what are the chances that all of the people that are losing money in the market think alike, and all the good ones think alike? And, you know, anybody like me that has been trading for a long time understands that, dude, once they break this shit down under 517, look at my trade the other day when I lost about 27 grand on this. I said, guess what, dude? There's no point in holding under our level, right? Honestly, it's about cutting losses. So for me, it was better to cut 4-point loss right here than to kind of give back. Look, how many more points I could have lost, right? So all it is risk management and understanding a little bit of chart patterns. Let's say 30 points. So I could have lost about 30 points, right? More than what I would have lost. So why even risk that, man? Honestly, the pain will just keep on getting, you know, more and more and more, rather than, you know, if it's working out in your direction, it's the same situation, right? That's where the confidence building comes in, right? Going over some of the things of, you know, if stuff is holding and it is going toward a certain direction, being able to kind of hold that, you know, for a little bit longer than what you were, you know, able to hold it. But like on this 30-point drop, if you only took, you know, 10 points, honestly, I would be like, that's a good trade, right? Why? Well, because not every day you're going to get this drop, right? But then every day you might get these 10-point moves up or down, where if you're able to capitalize even on those 10 points, look, 9.7, dude, you're going to be living your life, you know, amazingly. Like, don't always go for these, you know, home run days where, guess what, you're long here and you're trying to hold this for 30 points. Why not go for these 10 points, take those 10 points off all the way at the top, and then maybe short it again for another 10 points, and you're up 50, 60, 80 grand, rather than, you know, guess what, you're short here and you were up 10 points, and guess what, the reverse is on you and now you're down 10 points. What fun is that, right? So don't go for these home runs. Always just go for these, you know, quick little scalps, and go for these 10-point moves, right? And looking at the stocks, you know, average true range also helps with that understanding. You know, guess what? The stock moves 13, 14, 15 points on the day. So what can I target, right? Quarter of that wouldn't be a bad idea. So if it moves 10 points, guess what? You know, I'll target only 2.5 move, dollar move, right? So if you're able to just take 2.5, you know, dollars every day, all you have to do is then scale up in order for you to make 10 points, right? So instead of making, you know, 10 points on the day, why not 4 times your share size? So instead of trading 100 shares, just trade 400 shares, but make the 2.5. Now you're able to, you know, do the same thing. And that's where I switched over to options as well. Is one of those big things is, right, being able to kind of put in less capital, and I can trade a way, way bigger size. 10,000 shares on Zoom, literally, dude, look at this stock. That's $480,000 for 1,000 shares. So now we're going to times that by 10. That's $4.8 million, right? Let's say even if you have a day trading buying power, right, divide that by 4. How much is that, guys? All right, all the math people in here. Still 1.2 million, right? I still gotta have $1.2 million in my account. Think about it. Instead of having that, why not only trade this, right? And understanding that, you know, a $10 option or a $9 option, which is gonna cost me what, right? It's gonna cost me about
90K.
90K, exactly. So that's 10% of what I would put up initially, right? And that's one of those same situations of, you know, just taking advantage of the system, honestly. right? If the system kind of screws you over all the time, why not just take advantage of that, right? So it's the same way of taxes and stuff like that, right? Finding these loopholes that work, right? Which makes it, not legal. Honestly, dude, the system screws you over all the time too, right?
Bro, so do you suggest that, since the Zoom pops initially and it just pops really quickly, to wait for it and wait for the trend, or wait for the bull trap to be finished and then get in?
But that's one of those things, bro, is understanding what the stock can do, right? Understanding that this is the pre-market high, right? If it pops above that, where's the next resistance, right? Being able to take these, right? Not every day you're gonna get 10 points, right? The same situation, bro, right? Not every day you're gonna get, you're probably gonna get 30 points sometimes. And that's all of that kind of, same thing, right? Going back, it kind of comes with experience as well, right? Being able to use the same strategy, right? Just like I know you've been doing, right? But the same situation is, Raj, right? You're doing good, bro. Like, but all you just need to do is just kind of go back and keep on using the same strategy, right? Again and again and again. And all you have to do is just practice that strategy on the same stock, but just different days in the past, so that you can get your confidence level up. And then the second thing is also being able to understand, how the movement of the stock works. How much does it reject the 200? How much does it reject the 50? How does it support the 50? How does it reject the 50 WEWAP, right? And stuff like that. And that is the one big reason of kind of going in and putting in that extra work, right? If you're kind of over trading, one of the big things I think that can change every trader's life is literally this, right? If you're trading right in the beginning, right, and you have over 25K and you're still trading, and you take like 3 trades in the beginning of the day, right, at 9:30 to like 10, you take 3 trades, all of them are losers. I promise you, it's going to be way, way better and better, more beneficial to you to kind of cut your time off and go on demand now, right? Let's say you have another hour or so to spend on stocks before you go to your work. Spend that hour by going back and studying on demand, right? On even 3 times power, right? 3 times move, right? Studying the half an hour of the past 3 days. That's going to help you way, way more, because what's going to happen is watching the market from, 10 to 11, when honestly, you're taking all of your trades in the beginning. What's the point of doing this, right? Right? Like, it's the same thing, right? Training for a marathon when you're going to be a sprinter. Why? What's the point? You're going to lose. You get what I'm saying, right? And this, I'm not like, and I'm not going at you, Raj. I'm just talking about everybody in general, right? Like, it was like, why train for something like same thing, right? Training for boxing to be a UFC fighter, dude, you're gonna get kicked in the head and you're done. That's it. What are you gonna do? You can't be like, oh, guess what, man? He wasn't fair. No, no, no. It was fair. It was in the rules. It's just you're the one that kind of took the time to just watch the market sitting on your computer and over trading. And if you want me to be realistic and be honest with you guys, that's how it really is, right? Right? Like, you guys get what I'm saying? Make sense? No? Nobody wants to kind of tell me if it makes sense? Zane's getting it.
Yes,
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up,
You
bro?
guys hear me? Um, hey, what's up, man? So I was wondering, like when you get on a trade, like sorry to just kind of buzz in here, but I was wondering when you get on a trade, like initially, like in the first day, like maybe the first couple minutes or whatever, do you have like do you, like what's like your setup on the do you go into the option chain like
Yeah.
or do you go into like active trader?
So we've talked about this many, many times in our past webinars, bro. If you go on like even YouTube or our teachable section or the webinar section in the chat room, I promise you, you're gonna find literally almost every webinar we talk about it, the option chain, and how the reason, right? Then it goes back to the same thing, right? Watching the same type of stocks every day and having some of the main stocks, right, already on the options, right? Being able to have them, have the options already open. Like, that's why you see me, right? Like, you trade the whole number of options a little bit better. So on Zoom, I would already have, 485 calls and 480 puts, right, loaded up, right? Because these usually are the ones that would have more volume, if you really see, right? So if they're going to be a little bit more liquid, I'm already going to have these options up here. So if I need to trade Zoom, I can really quickly just go onto the, option active trader, right? Which I already have set up beforehand. And then you can go in and, buy or sell. Make sense?
Yes. So do you click? So like if you put that active trader back on, do you like click on the actual like on the right hand side of there? Like do you put like a select one of those little lines on there, or do you just put the buy market or the sell market?
So that's one of those things, right? Like once you keep on doing something, you're gonna get faster at doing everything. Does that make
Yeah,
sense? Like what I'm saying? Like if
yeah, because
your order doesn't go through, then you're gonna have to mark it in, because do you really care about the 30 cent on a 5, or do you really care about the 5 or the 30 cents on this move of 30 points?
yeah, because I just kind of feel like when I try to do the active trader on, like when I try to select on the actual, like if you go back so we can
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah, sometimes, bro, I've you know how many
Yeah.
times it happened to me where I have my orders out there on options and the price literally drives right through it and I don't get filled. So that's where you're gonna have those, like once you get good, right? Don't have hotkeys right now in the beginning when you're learning. When you have, right, like understanding that, guess what? The option has literally driven through your price. On the chart, you can see that, guess what? The option price is showing that, it's been as high as, the mark has been as high as $14, right? But
yeah,
your order at $13.50 didn't get filled. So what you do is you look at the active trader, right? Guess what? There's literally people lined up for $13.40, $13.25. Control C, which would cancel all of my orders that are on the active trader. Boom, 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 boom. Then you would feed it. Does that make sense?
yeah. So you click it. So you click it with your mouse, right? When you're on it.
Yeah, of course.
When
You
you're
would
trading, that's what you do. Like you actually click.
Or you can do like limit, like, because like my buy limit, right, like for the bid is control B. So if I want to kind of sell on the ask or sell on the bid, sometimes you want to kind of use your hotkeys and stuff like that. Or you can have those buttons here: buy on the bid, buy on the ask, or just sell in the market and stuff like that. Because it's options and we're not trading after hour equity, we don't need the sell on the ask, sell on the bid. I mean, sell on the ask and buy. Buy on the bid, right? Buy on the ask. My bad. We don't need the buy on the ask and sell on the bid, because technically it's it's the market. It's the market hours, so we can kind of buy and sell market. It's a lot more easier, because in after hours on equity, you would need the buy on the ask and sell on the bid, right? Which is very, very rarely used buttons for me.
Gotcha.
Because why not just mark it in and have a chance of getting a better fill rather than just giving somebody on the ask, my contracts to somebody on the ask and stuff like that.
Yeah, sometimes it does make like a big difference, right? Like as far as the market, because like,
well, I was up about, I think it was like on one of the stocks, it was like I was up, I think the other day when I was up almost 40 grand or something like that. I ended up closing out my thing. Was it 40 or 50? It was one of those, right? I don't know which day it was. And I ended up closing out my options, dude. It was like I was down 5 grand out of all of that. So what happens.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, dude. Because like on the actual chain, like on the option chain, like if you look on the grid, like sometimes the price, like they only have a certain amount of contracts that they're selling, for a certain price.
Exactly. And that's
why I was asking you.
That's why having targets always really helps, right? Because like you guys know, every time I'm in a trade, I always have a target in the beginning. Like always do. Like there's not ever I've gotten in a trade where I don't have my target lined up. Never. You can go back and see it. Every time, even in pre-market, when we talk about stocks, we always have a target, right? Looking at past resistance, bro. Brian, looking at past resistance, past open, pre-market open, aftermarket close and stuff like that, aftermarket highs. So you always got to have the target in. And then once you have the target in, you have to kind of look at the option chain and understand that, guess what? I'm really close to my target. So why not let me put my orders out there already, right? And then see if they get filled as it goes through, right? That's the same situation of, that I was explaining. If I have my orders out there on the 1350 and the stock price or the option price rips right through it and I still don't get filled, dude, just cancel it and just feed it. right? Understanding that it has hit your target, you know, is a big thing, because if the price, you know, goes right through your target and continues, okay, good news. But then it can also, look, just reverse very easily and drop like 3 points, right? Or drop like, you know, all the way back to your entry, you know, in the span of 10 minutes, right? So also understanding that is very, very big and very important, is that, you know, how to trade option properly, right? And that's not with one, right? Look, Zoom had the 500% gainer, right? What is this option? Look, Tesla, weeklies, 30, right? 4 or 5 puts. Look, $2 to $25, 1,000% return. That means if you would have put in $10,000, you would have came out with $100,000 all the way at the top here, right? Right? Going in, if you would have had $1 million, $10 million, right? $10 million to $100 million. But at the same time, not saying it like that, but just saying, right? 1,000% return. Look how long a stock would take to make literally 1,000% return, right? Right, look at this. I mean, honestly, just looking at it, right? On Tesla alone too, and Tesla is one of the craziest stocks ever. For excuse me, for 1,000% return, it took it literally, look, 5-6 months, and we can get that in literally the span of 2 hours with options. So, you know, to be your own is the word. Bro, honestly, it literally, I've no clue what your question is right there, trader. It's literally a weird question, dude. Because literally, if the pattern is literally at the open, right? Like the same situation, right? Not everything, not always you're gonna know already in pre-market that the stock will do this, right? If the stock does completely opposite, I'm not even gonna look at it, honestly, right? For the next 20, 30 minutes and see if it wants to, you know, even do anything related to what I was thinking of, right? If the stock does what I'm thinking in the first 2 or 3 minutes, dude, I'll go in. Yeah, why not? Why would I wait for this thing to just rip up when I knew it was going to rip up, right? So the same situation of like, if the stock dumps like Twitter yesterday, I'm not going to lie, stupid trade, very stupid trade. I mean, very good trade. I'm sorry to say that. Very good trade, just stupid execution in options, right? Just to show you guys an example, this is what I was looking at on Twitter when we took this trade right here. Look, sell down. I didn't even look at Twitter. Twitter was the early long for us, right? Guess what? It started coming back up, went long basically above the 50 EMA right here. Look, it ripped up $1 almost on a stock that literally has average true range of what? Literally $1, dude. Right? Like, look, this thing has an average true range of what? Not even $1. Look, right? $1.50. And I got almost $1 out of it, right? But the same situation is I was looking at something too much. And that's where, you know, that's why I have the options for Twitter here. Look, I had 150 contracts, right? On this thing. And it was, I don't know why I have it put here. Look, right? Right? So having to kind of go long here and having it drop like 50 cents didn't really do anything to me. That's the same situation of trading this option, right? Look, this option was at 80 cents. Me buying 150 contracts for this literally wasn't even anywhere close to buying 150 contracts of, you know, let me show you something very cool of this. Look, if I would have bought 150 contracts of this at 30 bucks, look, right? That's 15,000 times literally 10. That's 150K, another 150K, another 150K, another 150K. That's about 600 grand already by 11, right? Not even. Literally, I would have had that, you know, in the first 15 minutes, I would have had 600K, right? By only buying 150 contracts at 30 bucks, right? And that would have been an investment of, what was that, man? What was that investment of? Freaking, yeah, so almost literally doubling my money. So, you know, so that's one of those things that you have to understand is that, so almost a 450K investment would have turned into about, you know, 1 point certain some $1 million, right? No, it wasn't 45K, bro. 100 contracts, 150 contracts, that's 450K. You have to put down. So putting down 450K here at 30 bucks, guess what? That's another 450K that I made. Guess what, right? Plus another 150K. Wait a second. So 150K, 150K, that's three, that's four, yeah, 450K plus another 150K, that's 600K. So technically I would have made 600K in the first 10 minutes or first 15 minutes of Amazon, right? If I would have just bought 150 contracts. But then the same issue becomes with Twitter, right? When Twitter was kind of selling and doing this depressive shit right here, like when it dropped like this on me, I literally didn't care because I lost like 7 grand. I was like, okay, like, so I was like, all right, it kind of pissed me off because literally it has so much potential of it just kind of holding above here and then, driving itself all the way up to, the 200 EMA, that would have been our target, and then try to hold that and go for the gap fill. But it didn't do that. So one of those things, risk management, guys, simple, right? Look, I still cut my loss at a 50-cent loss versus what I could have made. Just to show you guys an example, look what I could have made on this stock. I could have made $2 on it, right? But I lost 50 cents, which still means I'm still 124. That's pretty good, right? So I would have made, like 28 grand if I would have won. I would have lost about, more than 7. I mean, I lost a little bit more, honestly, simply because I didn't really care about this thing selling off. I think I closed it out on the second candle, like while it was coming down here. So I lost like $1 on it, but like still, right? Like I would have made like 14 grand on it if I would have won. Still 1-2. The only reason I didn't cut this earlier was simply because it was like I was just kind of dying laughing, looking at it, because I was like, okay, makes sense. I was like, okay, because if I would have had the same type of contract size on Zoom or Tesla or anything like that, I would have been down like 50 grand already. Because I would have taken too long to kind of close this out. But times pre-market will say that you is not popped short. Is that just based off the pre-market? Simply, it's based off of, I would say, pre-market. Honestly, yeah. Simply kind of looking back at the resistance and kind of seeing the stock fighting a certain level. And if the stock doesn't get the momentum of it to kind of break up, or if they just want to simply trap people to the upside, they will kind of trap people on the pop and then boom, drop. Can you show us an example? Well, very similar example is right here, dude. Look what it's doing. So Twitter sells off, pops up, hold this 43 level, jumps up here. And then look, it's trying to fight this $45 mark. What did I say in the chat? It has to hold above the $45 mark in order for it to kind of go up. But it wasn't able to hold because guess what? Too many sellers sitting up here, right? So until this thing comes back up to the $45 mark the next time, right? Then even we're going to kind of see if it wants to kind of, honestly hold, which would be the third try. And then the fourth try will be when it's like certain, dude, it's going to fucking pop, like, honestly. So, but you can literally see it right here. It's a very easy example, literally fighting the pre-market here. And honestly, what I was looking at was simply this, right? What I was looking at was, all of that selling pressure from yesterday. If the stock was able to break this and hold, it would have been very easy for it to pop up here at least, and then kind of continue the wave to the upside and then maybe drop later on. But it didn't want it to do that, so our theory failed, which is fine, right? So it's just next time when we take this trade, if it works out, we're going to make more than what we lost, rather than, guess what, our theory fails and we hold it till all the way till the close, and now we're down 30 grand, and it's going to take us 2 good trades from the same stock, right, to make that 30 grand back. Who wants to do that, honestly? All right. So always trying to keep.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course, bro.
Quick question before can you go to the left a little bit in your chart?
Yeah.
You just drew a line from the top of the yellow to the next top of the yellow.
Yeah.
Why do you choose those 2 points and not go further back and choose another 2 highs?
Because this is short term we're looking at, right? We're not looking at, the whole kind of, because if I wanted to draw those lines, I wouldn't be doing it on this, right? I'd be doing it on, my bad about that. I'd be doing it on the daily chart, right? Wouldn't I be? If you really think about it. Yeah.
Oh, so for the open, you're just looking at like the last 15 minutes and seeing what the trend was.
Yeah, in pre-market and kind of seeing what the stocks are doing in pre-market rather than looking back into even yesterday's, though, for like yesterday's support and resistance, you would use lines like this to kind of see where the support and resistance are. Where here we're looking for, kind of the buying selling mentality of, fear versus greed working out, right?
Yeah,
This-
so that looks like an hour and a half from
Yeah.
7 a.m. to just before it opened, basically.
Yeah. So this is the greed coming in, right? Where like people are still fearful, as you can see, right? Look, like they don't want to buy it up here, but then finally, when the greed did come in above 44.80, right, it took over people. So everybody got in, and guess what? Boom. So once they started dropping, everybody started selling into the momentum, which means the fear wins, and boom, and it continues down. Make sense? Like if you really, yeah, like it's all,
And one more question, since I have your attention.
yeah.
When you say your target in the chat, for example, you're on Twitter,
Yeah.
how would you have your target to exit this if you did have a put at this 3rd minute candle?
If I would have a put, honestly,
Yeah, how do you set your target? How far back do you look?
Okay, let's look back at it, right? Honestly, if we just draw this line right here, just to show you an example, right? Like this is how it would be, right? If you really look at it, look, it's kind of, this is the support, right? This is the resistance that it was simply, right? Like that is looking at between these candles. But how, honestly, it would go is this, right? If we're looking for anything down below here, below the $44 mark, this is what I would do. I'd draw lines like this and understanding that, right? This is where the supports and resistances are, right? If that breaks, where can it head to? It would head down to here. So now if we go to our charts here, right, on the regular day, look where these lines are, right? Let's see if they're, let's see if this example works out. So our first target will be down here in the $43 mark. And look how it sported here, right? Bounced off, and then it finally broke. Then it started resisting that level. You see how these levels from the past come into play today.
Yeah, how far back did you go to draw those lines?
Literally as far as I have to, doesn't matter. Dude, it could have,
okay.
stock would have stayed above $40 for literally 15 years, and I would have still gone to the 16th year to see where the sport will be. Because the same situation, right? I'm looking at the good people that are trading, like me. Simple. So the same thing, right? In trading, you can't keep on doing what you're doing and think of succeeding. You have to join the good team, honestly, right? So it's literally a playoff, right? So you're trying out, right? You keep trying out until you get accepted into the good team. Simple, right? In order for you to make money, you have to join the better team. You can't keep on doing what you're doing. And, like in movies, right? Let's say, you are literally a different character and, people just get a different vibe from you, right? And you end up winning out. Different career, different thing. In trading, you have to join the good team, right? So understanding that, and then look where it came down to, right? Into that level that we drew from the past, right? So all it is just kind of looking at these levels, and this is where our first target will be, right? And then of course, look at this. It literally sported on a target in pre-market and after hours. So we could have just drawn that line actually in pre-market, right? So it would have been the pre-market lows, right? That would have been another target. So makes sense?
And Bruce,
Yeah, thank you.
this disclaimer, I think everybody keeps asking for targets. I mean, my assumption is, let's say if I'm comfortable moving 1 point, that would be my target. But, if somebody tells me that it's a 5-point target and it doesn't hit, do I keep holding on? So, I'm just throwing a disclaimer out there saying, I think, whatever you're comfortable with it, and target should be basically if you're willing to get 2 points, that you get out. If the stock goes 5 points, 10 points, 20 points, but if it goes the other way, then don't blame somebody else saying you said the target was.
Yeah, no, I know.
And it happened on one of these stocks that we were looking at, right? Where I kind of called it out. I think it was Tesla. When it didn't hit our target, I was like, start covering here. When our target was 3 points still down there. Why did I say start covering here? Because I saw, momentum in that stock. I don't know which day it is. If somebody wants to tell me which day it was, it's one of these days where, we were looking back at it. You can go back in the chat, and that's what you should do. Honestly, look at every single one of my calls and every single one of my, kind of judgments and see, because then it seems goes back to, right? Does this guy even know what he's talking about? Right. To do that.
I remember that you were telling people you start taking profit now.
Like kind of going back and seeing, Why did he say that? Well, candles started having these buyer wicks come in, and buyer volume jumped up, where you want to know that, okay, this has a chance of reversing and moving up, so why not start taking some profit here and then leaving, because the thing is, right, if we're already up 10 points, what are the chances of you, like, why would you want to risk, right, all of that 10 points for the extra 2 points, right? Does that make sense? So sometimes you get that gut feeling of, okay, you want to take profit. Why? Well, because you've been doing this for so long, and you've been practicing this for literally, the same thing, right? Going back on demand, guys, learning, right? Understanding, right? And this is like, and it's like, it doesn't cost you anything, man. It's free. Thinkorswim is free, dude. Literally, you can keep on learning, right? Like, honestly, it's, all out there. It's just nobody wants to put in the time. Not saying it like in a bad way. I'm just saying, right, as humans, we always kind of look for an easier way out when there isn't, honestly, an easy way out. Because if there was an easy way out, everybody would be, because I mean, honestly, there's so many more people that are smarter than me. But it's just, the issue is they don't work as hard as me, right? Same situation. And that's like, you can say being cocky or anything like that. It's just, you got to put in the work, man, honestly. At the end of the day. As much as you guys think that, oh, I'm only here for 3 hours in the morning and I go, dude, you don't know how many hours do I spend looking at charts after that too, for my swing trades, for my, other things, and, my other businesses that I want to succeed. Like, it's at the end of the day, you don't know my real life. That's it. Simple, right? You don't know how much work I actually put in. That's it. What you guys see is only, the highlight. Right? At the end of the day, being honest.
Bro, I want your life.
But man, all in all, it's all work, right? If you just work hard enough, you'll make it. I mean, honestly, why not? What's my goal? A yacht, bro? A yacht's $100 million. Not a bad goal, am I right? Am I right? Like, it's not a bad goal, yeah.
So working from the middle of the sea or ocean?
I don't know about that, bro. Honestly, yachts not my thing, though. Honestly, being honest, bro. You know that some of these billionaires just buy yachts for like $300 million and then they sell it for like 80? Because like, once you take it
But
off, like,
you also know that, right? Every week they spend close to $500,000 to maintain it.
maintain it, of course. That's the same, the same thing, right, bro? Once you build up a business or a certain thing where you just have this income coming in, right? The same situation of what I'm talking to you guys, right? I don't want to kind of demotivate you guys. Guys, trading shouldn't be your end goal, honestly. This is just a train that you're taking to get to, your destination, honestly. Right? This is to get started. This is something that you do just so you have this like skill of, being able to kind of, do whatever you want to do and kind of put money toward your goals and your actual, things that you want to do. Most hated, bro. I don't know, bro. You tell me. Pins, you guys said, right? What was the thing with pins? Just sideways, ugly.
No, on Thursday you predicted that to short it like around 67, and you said it would go to 61. That was right after earnings.
Oh, that only came in from literally this one of these levels from, I think it was from pre-market that or the after hours we were looking at, and that's about it because it was all-time highs. The same situation, right? If it wants to go down, we were talking about, I mean, this pop happened first, which, same situation of trapping people and all of that bullshit. Like, that's why I didn't look at it. But, if it would have just sold back down from the 64s, it would have gone to the 61 simply because of, this next level, which would have came into the sport, right? And then also what's right next to it is the 200 EMA. And look where it started bouncing off of, right? The 200 EMA, but it also went to the $61 level. So, it's that's why we kind of go back and look at the levels and do our research. And also, good thing about that, guys, also tomorrow James is going to have another meeting, right? If you want to join, right, it's going to be a little bit more of a intermediate, like, training on about trend lines and kind of spotting reversal candles, I believe. So that's going to be, hopefully cool. And I'll be there if I get a chance. Because I'm not going to lie, guys, sometimes, busy on the weekends, sometimes only. Like tomorrow I got plans. But I don't know if, it'd be after. Yeah, it might be after the, 11, 12 Western time. So it's not bad. So I might be able to make it.
Still on the West Coast?
Yeah. Thing is, I'll be going back soon. So, I still got my time set to, East Coast. And I've always lived there for my whole life. So it's not bad. Right? I'm not going to lie, guys. I like the East Coast more. West Coast.
Otherwise, you would have to wake up at 6 a.m. to trade.
I know, dude, bro. That's one of those things, but it's not bad because I always, used to wake up early on the East Coast as well. So that's a good habit to honestly build, guys. Right, being up early is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, because if you're able to kind of get your day started before everybody else, honestly, like it's another level of confidence, another level of, And I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I have those days where I stay up till 8:30 and literally do my charts literally half an hour before pre-market live, and we all have that. And I'm not gonna lie, this past week, literally almost every day was like that, right? So literally been waking up at like 5:30 in the morning and just kind of doing that, but the same situation of kind of getting back into it. Like if you just do it for a couple of times, not bad, but it's just a good habit to wake up
Waking up early is the habit of the millionaires.
I would say so. I think it's just simply, at the end of the day, all it is the same thing, right? What Kobe was talking about, right, guys? RP, but he was talking about how, right, let's say a player wakes up at 10 a.m. In the morning, right? And he goes to practice from 10 to 12, right? And then he comes back for half an hour, 2 hours rest, right? And then he goes back to practice at 1, and then he comes back at 3, right? Another half an hour, right? Another couple hours of rest, and then goes back at 5, and then comes back at 7. Right now he's got 3 practices in, but think about somebody that's kind of wakes up at 4 a.m. and gets 3 or maybe 2 more extra practices in before and that's how these big I'm not gonna lie, these big players, right, train like that. They get basketball practice, you got weights, you got to do all of this, right? That's how their lifestyle is. But he was talking about how that extra 2 sessions don't make a difference today, don't make a difference next week, don't make a difference for a month, but after that year, 2 years, having that many extra practices, right, adds up so much where you have 60, 70, 80% more work put in, and you have more experience, right, than the player that's not doing it. So it's all on you, right? So at the end of the day, that's where it goes back to, right? So one of those things is all about putting in work, like being able to be up before everybody else and being able to put in the work when nobody else is. It kind of gives you that confidence of understanding that, guess what, you're always one step ahead of people. That's it. Right. And it really is. That's how it goes. Nuggets, bro. Hell yeah, bro. It really is, man. It was, it's one of those things, right? Like he's one of the greatest players out there. So if you don't listen to me, just listen to him. He's smart. And it's just a good habit too, right? In general, being able to kind of, shut your brain off earlier. Because if you're waking up at 4 or 5, right, a.m. in the morning, then guess what? You're gonna, go to sleep better, right? But we're actually, let's do one thing. We're gonna end the webinar here. Kind of just go over. We kind of went over all the options, honestly. The Facebook was another option that we kind of talked about, and then we'll just talk about this a little bit afterward. But look, another option that went from $4 all the way up as high as 18 bucks. That means it was what? From $4 went as high as 18 bucks. That was about 400% return. I mean, 350 still, right? Still good return, right? honestly, look into this, start looking at it, start learning from it. But we're gonna stop the recording here. So now we'll just kind of go